All right, we're about to go to the third match in this Swiss draft. Let's see if I can salvage something out of this, and finishing with the winning record is kind of the goal here. Okay, we're on the draw, which is not preferred for this deck, but it's still completely manageable. Ideally, you're always on the draw game 2 anyways. This is definitely a keep. I'm curving turn 1, possibly Fiery Impulse, into turn 2, Free Blade, turn 3, Sergeant. By that point, maybe turn 4, Griffin. So, can't complain when you've got perfect curve for the first 3 turns, and probably 4. Chase the Mage is taking some time making their decision. Of note, this is the first time that I've drawn my quote-unquote removal, so make sure I'm actually keeping. All right. Another Blue Mage. I am not... All right. I'm still not going to cast Fiery Impulse. I might do it on his turn. If he's got a 2-drop that is susceptible, then I will go ahead and do it. If he casts the Maritime Guard that's the 1/3, then I will hold up. But I would much rather cast the removal on one of his other creatures that it'll actually matter on. Because if he only has one bonded construct out, I never have to worry about him attacking with it. Let's see what his turn 3 play is. Thopter Engineer, Gear per Gear Crafter. Haven't seen any of those, and somebody had to take them. And if he's playing the construct, it kind of makes sense. No, Boggart Brute. Well, that is definitely a target for a Fiery Impulse. I just want to see if I have another 2-drop here before I worry about casting that. I do want to cast it while he's tapped out. That way he doesn't have any kind of response that he can do and get me in trouble. So I'm just going to Fiery Impulse it now. I'm going to pass turn because I don't want to waste the Fiery Impulse on the Bonded Construct. Again, there's just way better targets out there. And I would rather not trade my Free Blade for the Construct. So yeah, basically it boils down to Construct is not worth a Free Blade or a Fiery Impulse. Next turn I can cast Crown Sergeant and hold up Fiery Impulse and then start attacking with the Sergeant. Because the Bonded Construct won't be able to kill that. Okay. Spiring Aeronaut is annoying. It is a Fiery Impulse target. Now the downside is he will be able to attack with the Bonded Construct now, but I will have my Sergeant down and there won't be much he can do about that. Or I could have my Thopter Engineer down. And I think that's probably my play. Or do I want to just be more efficient with the mana? Charging Griffin is the better... Well, it's not even the better card. But it uses my mana better. And I think I'm going to do that. Still not attacking in with the Free Blade. If he does attack with both of these, I'm just taking 3 damage. Because then I'm swinging back with 5. Obviously, he will probably have something that affects the board state between now and then. But I just have better things to put down. I can cast Thopter Engineer and trade his one card for my half of a card with the Thopter token that goes into play. Abbot of Carol Keep, huh? Well, he does things. Alright, what's getting exiled? Kind of a gamble for him because he's only got 2 mana up. I don't know how low his curve is. Ideally, it'll be something that costs 3 to cast. Or more. I wouldn't mind if he exiled away one of his better cards. He's taking some time on this, though. Oh, he's waiting on me. I'm special. Okay, so he got Mage Ring Bully. I have to imagine he is going to be casting that. Now I have decisions to make between casting the Sergeant or the Engineer. Because the Engineer, it can just bounce. But the Sergeant has a better chance of offing the Abbot. No attacks, huh? This is definitely a deck where I'll be bringing in Chandra's Fury. Because X1, X1, X1. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and attack with my Charging Griffin. I'm guessing he doesn't block. And now I have to make that decision. Engineer or Sergeant. I think I'm going to go Sergeant. If he has some kind of a combat trick that's going to pump all that stuff up, I would rather the Sergeant dies than the Engineer. I think that's right. And if he attacks in, I'll let the Mage Ring Bully through. I'll let the Construct through, but I will block the Abbot with the Sergeant. Because unless he has a buff, the Prowess still... I mean, he'll have to cast 2 non-creature spells for the Prowess to put the Abbot outside of first strike range. Or 1 Titan Strength. He's figuring it out, though. Lightning Javelin. Okay. I will trade my Free Blade for the Abbot. He does have 2 spells in hand, or 2 cards in hand, and he does have mana up for Titan Strength. But I just have to risk it. Yeah, Chandra's Ignition is just a board wipe against him. Though in its defense, it's a board wipe against most things. So, if he only attacks with the Bully, I know he doesn't have a combat trick in hand. If he attacks with the Abbot as well, I have to... Yeah, I've got to take the gamble. So 8 damage is significant. Next turn, I'll still be able to put down Thopter Engineer. Yeah, Titan Strength, huh? So I'm still taking 8 damage. 9 damage. I know, I know. So now I definitely have to play much more defensively. Although, again, if I pull Chandra's Fury, attack with the Griffin, wipe his board. Sounds alright to me. I mean, it's never ideal to bank on your 1 in 40 chance. But I will go ahead and put the race on. Gonna Thopter Engineer for sure. I don't need to hold that back. So if I put that on the Thopter, I'm attacking for 6 every turn, and he is cracking back for a good chunk. I think I go ahead and put it on the Griffin. He's going to block with the Thopter. It does take a blocker away from me, but depending upon how spell heavy his deck is, I feel pretty safe blocking with Thopter Engineer from here on. The telltale will be if he just attacks with Mage Ring Bully, but he could also just be very aggressive, and I'm just going to take it. You taking 5? Yeah, you want to take 5. You don't want to take 5? Alright, you don't take 5. So it's my perfect draw. I mean, my perfect draw is Chandra's Ignition. Chandra. I need to get a pronunciation guide. What wrecks me? This is Separatist Void Mage, or... well, there's a lot of cards that wreck me. Because if he can get rid of my Thopter Engineer with like another Lightning Javelin, or... oops. Let's get back to the game. There's just a lot of stuff to go on. Opponent has decisions to make, though. Hopefully none of them are good. Now I could... oh, what's going on here? So, 2 red mana. You know, I'm just going to block with the Engineer. I don't know what he was tapping 2 red mana for. But if it's, you know, any kind of combat damage, I don't want to lose both my blockers. And he may have just been bluffing. Well, there we go. So I'm going to attack with everything. And then I will Chandra's Ignition. Now, if he has Clash of Wills, that's not ideal. Okay, send to sleep. And he does have Spell Mastery, which is a bummer. But I'll be the only one with a creature on board. And now he doesn't have blue mana up, so I know he can't. He cannot counter this. Now, if he has... well, he would have to have 2 more non-creature spells in order for that not to be the board wipe. That it was. So, it's a bummer that he has 2 turns of me sitting there with a infectious, bloodlusted, sleeping fantasy animal. But if he doesn't get something playable in the next couple turns, that could be my victory condition. No need to play the planes. There's nothing in my deck that is going to necessitate me having 7 mana. Alright, what you got for me? I don't want to see a Lightning Javelin. Just gonna F6 through the turn if he doesn't show me something. Okay. So his scout can't be blocked. Well, that's alright. My 5/4 Griffin is a little bit more problematic than his 2/1. Especially now that I get a 3/3 on board. Okay, what's up here? He's getting some kind of gas. Or did he... May have been wrong, but I think he just tapped those on his draw step. Goblin Pile Driver. Yep, going the Goblin deck. He had to have just top decked that, otherwise... Yeah. I just go ahead and attack here. Because I'm pretty out of range of anything he could cast that could kill me on the crackback. Yeah. Okay. So, a Crone Jailer comes out. Chandra's Fury comes in. I still think the rest of this stays. Because I don't want to go too low on creatures against his deck. Because I needed pretty much everything I drew. I don't want to overload on 5-drops. Yeah. I'm just going to board in 1. 2 of them might have been the correct decision. But I kind of have 2 of them with Chandra's Ignition. And that brings me up to 4 removal spells. And wow, I drew all the removal in my deck that match. I feel so special. I'm getting verklempt. And he is getting into his sideboard. Be back.